Hey everybody, it's your pal Wes from Perfect Circuit, and today we're gonna talk audio interfaces. The technology behind audio interfaces has made astounding progress in the last decade. When I bought my first audio interfaces, folks were talking about things like consumer grade, professional, and then they would say this word that I absolutely hate, prosumer. However, it's 2022, and nowadays most computers, tablets, and even phones possess the processing power necessary to record high-quality, multi-channel audio at, whatever sample rate or bit depth you want. So let's take a look at a couple audio interfaces that we really recommend for making it happen. All right, first up is my personal recommendation, anything from Motu. Specifically today, we're gonna take a look at the Motu M6, the new kid on the block. Now, Motu stands for Mark of the Unicorn, and they certainly deliver something special with the M6. This device is USB-C powered. It features 4 preamps with an insane amount of gain. I think you can go up to like 70 dB of gain on this thing, so you're not going to need any sort of cloud lifter or extra gain in post if you're using mics like the RE20 or the SM7B. This bad boy just crushes it. Additionally, you've got monitor switches right on the front, which are excellent if you're doing any sort of streaming. These are really nice to be able to put things in and out of the mix as well as some MIDI. You've also got 2 sets of outputs here and a power switch, which I enjoy having a power switch. The Motu M6 works in tandem with a program called QMix that you can use on any phone or computer, and this will allow you to actually do DSP-based EQing, reverb, and a couple other really fun, fancy tricks. The cherry on top is that Motu provides DC-coupled outputs on their interfaces, so this is going to allow you to shoot CV from your DAW into your modular synthesizer if you choose, or do all sorts of other DC-coupled goodness. The M6 is probably my choice for a great beginner audio interface, but Motu also makes 2 versions that are a little bit smaller, the M4 and the M2, which have 2 and 4 inputs respectively. They also make a version that is a little bit bigger that you might know as the Ultralight Mark V. But the Ultralight's a little advanced for what we're talking about today, so let's move on to something else. This is the Steinberg UR44C. It's very similar to the Motu, except it doesn't feature a screen, and it's got a couple extra outputs on the back. It's actually got 6. Now this audio interface is incredibly straightforward. You're not going to deal with any programs or drivers, anything like that. It's purely plug and play. It sounds great, and it also features, beautiful USB-C and MIDI functionality. If you're looking to add a splash of color to your setup, we might recommend adding the Focusrite Scarlett series. Now, this is the 18i8, which is once again going to look very similar to some of the other audio interfaces that we've talked about today, except Focusrite has jammed a couple extra considerations in this box that set it apart from the others. The Scarlett's got 4 pre's on the front, all with the air functionality, as well as an ADAT optical in and a SPDIF in. So the ADAT is an optical format that allows you to expand your interface with another device and allows you to pipe in either 8 channels or 4 channels, depending on the audio quality, into the interface with no extra cables. It's super duper handy if you're thinking about expanding later in the future. I've been a long-time user of the Focusrite Scarlett series and even the Sapphire series that preceded it, and I can tell you that these are great starter interfaces. They're incredibly easy to use, and they sound great too. And now it's time for something a little bit different. Let me introduce you to the Arturia AudioFuse Studio. Now, this is an audio interface that is tremendously exciting because it jams so many considerations and features in here. It kind of makes my head spin. So we can see right off the bat that this has a more sort of console style design. You've got each of your 4 built-in channels with the inputs on the front right here, different selectors, really nice big sturdy knobs for turning up the gain there. You've got this big satisfying output knob up here, and then this panel that alludes to the massive amount of I/O, including a Bluetooth button, which is super sick. If we take a look at the back of the interface, we can see this tremendous amount of I/O in action here. And I would just like to point out a few of the considerations that Arturia has stuck on this device that really make it absolutely incredible. First of all, you've got RCA inputs here. So if you've got gear that's, outputting RCA, bam, right there. You've also got line inputs, inserts, a bunch of outputs, 6 to be exact, as well as double ADAT inputs, word clock and SPDIF, and then the piece de resistance, a gosh darn USB bus down here. 2 of these guys have 1 amp output and the other one's got 120. So if you want to connect your MIDI controllers or, other bits and bobbles that use USB power, this guy can handle it. Beep, 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 beep. One last little cool thing that I think is really handy is that they've given you the 2 headphone outputs and they've put the 1/8" jacks on there too. So if you're running around, you can't find your little adapter, no worries, you got it right there. We've got a few other audio interfaces that we'd like to highlight, and I'm going to turn it over to my pals Brian and Jacob so they can talk to you about a couple of their choices.
Hi, I'm Wes's pal Jacob, and this is the SSL-12. The SSL-12 is the latest in Solid State Logic's line of compact audio interfaces, and it is really cool, actually, 100% serious. So of course we've got 4 audio inputs on the side here, but in addition to that, each channel features these legacy 4K buttons, which add some nice saturation inspired by SSL's 4000 series consoles. This is analog saturation that's being added in and gives a nice crispy punch to drum machines and synthesizers. Now, 4 inputs might not seem like a lot, but thankfully SSL have decided to include ADAT optical input right here on the back. This is really handy if you're using something like an external preamp unit, or you have Eurorack modules like the Expert Sleeper stuff or the Board Brain Optics, and you want additional channels going in and out of your rack super easily. You've got 2 headphone mixes that you can configure in the companion software, and there's even a little talkback microphone built into that so you can talk to your pal in the closet, recording vocals. Best of all, this interface is entirely USB-C bus powered, and to top it off, they even put this nice little dongle in there with you. So you don't have to buy a whole separate cable if you already have a USB-C computer or a USB-A computer. It doesn't matter.
Hello, it's Brian with Perfect Circuit, and look, it's a black box. Just kidding, it's actually an interface from Audient. It's called the Evo 16. This very handsome, very sleek interface features 8 inputs and 8 outputs. These 2 have JFET circuits in it, which is perfect for guitar, bass, or anything you want to give a little bit of drive or is a little too quiet. Then on the back right here, we have 6 more award-winning mic preamps, 8 fully independent outputs that can be easily routable with the very attractive software. It's incredibly easy to use. It takes a second to install. USB-C, everyone loves that. Optical, ADAT, or SPDIF. One thing to note, however, there is no MIDI, but that's okay. If you need something that is easily routable, perfect for any studio, perfect for performance, it easily fits a laptop right on there, the Audient Evo 16 might just be the thing for you.
Well, that's all for today. We hope you guys have enjoyed watching this brief little look at some new audio interfaces. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two or spotted a feature that maybe you can't live without. If you'd like to know more, check out the links in the description. We got articles on our blog all about audio interfaces under 500, under 200. There is something in there for you. make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and comment your favorite Pro Tools HD interface down below, and then tell me about how you're never going to use it again.